Welcome to the newsroom. Today I'm going to mention 3 tech companies you should be watching for the year 2020. Let's talk about it. First company is a company called Nicola. Everyone's talking about Nicola. It's a hot stock right now. So let's find out if it's a good investment. So first of all, who is Nicola? If you're not aware, they are pretty much trying to compete and do what Tesla does, but on the truck level. Semi-trucks. They're also trying to build a pickup truck that's going to compete with the Ford F-150. And it looks actually pretty cool. There's a lot of talk out there about Nicola, whether they're a real company or not. So I have this article here I found on Google. Nikola Motor has not produced any products yet. It doesn't even have a factory. So I can understand why people are skeptic about investing in this company. So always do your research when I talk about these stocks and make sure it's an investment that fits what you're going for. First, about the company, if you're not aware of them, Nikola Corporation manufactures electric vehicles. The company offers battery, electric, and hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles. Corporation was founded in 2015 and is based in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay. So only 4 employees, founded 2015, no products. But for some reason, the stock rallied. So as you can see here, this is the vehicle lineup. They have the Nicola 1, the Nicola 2, the Nicola 3. These are their semi-trucks. And then the coolest truck, the one that we're all really interested in, is the Nicola Badger. That is their pickup truck that's going to compete with the Ford F-150. You cannot buy this truck right now, but you can go on and put your information in so they can contact you once you're able to actually buy this vehicle. So here's a picture of the truck. It is pretty cool looking. If that does become a reality and they do make this truck, I could see a lot of people buying this just based off of looks. I found this article from today, this morning this was actually released. Nikola stock got its first rating from Wall Street and they labeled it a buy. I found this article interesting. So Nikola got its first bullish rating from Wall Street on Wednesday. His price target for the stock price is $79, up about 25% from Tuesday's closing level. The news is noteworthy for a couple of reasons. First, no analyst covered the company before Wednesday. That's interesting. Second, Wall Street is generally skeptical of new green transportation technology. Only about 25% of analysts covering Tesla and NIO rate the shares at buy. Let's actually look into the technicals and see if this is a good investment technical wise, because there's not a lot of fundamentals to base this off of, other than this is possibly something for the future that I could invest in now, hold it long term, and it could turn into a good investment if it all does come to fruition. Who knows? But let's look at the technicals and see if we could gauge a good entry, good price targets to make some money off of this thing. All right, so we're looking at the Niccola chart. As you can see, the rally began in May. This was a $10 share stock and it ran all the way to 95. I actually watched it. I don't own the stock. I didn't invest in it. I actually watched it. I saw it for the first time. It was at like 50, 52. And I saw it run to 95 in a day. And I was blown away. I was like, this is insane. I was going to get in a couple times and I didn't. And it just kept going and going and going. Whatever. Now it's on the downtrend. So let's look at the technicals of this thing. So right now it's in this uncertain zone. An uncertain zone is when a stock is riding sideways. There's indecision. I don't know if it's going to go up or down. So there's really no momentum pushing it one way or the other. That's what's happening now. And it's actually very impressive that this was a $10 stock, ran to 95, and it's holding in the mid-60 level. It's actually a very strong support from its pullback. The fact that it could bounce and hold it in, even break 50. That's very promising to see that when a stock rallies that hard. As you can see in the uncertain zone, it could either head up or down. So I drew some support and resistance lines here. I'm showing strong report at $59. I'm showing strong resistance at $69. It's in that indecisive zone. It's going to probably channel and trade in there for a little bit of time. It already has. And I'm going to wait for it to choose direction before I make my investment. If it breaks out of the top, that would be a good entry. I always look for these U formations. 9 out of 10 times, this formation always works for me. It's running sideways. It's going to be hard for it to follow through on this U formation. But if it does start churning up and break through that $70, $69 range, this may be a good investment for me to do a nice little swing trade. So this is the possible move I could see it doing as of now. Now, this is not a definite. This can change if it continues to ride sideways and break through sideways of that U formation. Then it's just going to continue in that channel, still in the uncertainty zone. Okay, so the next stock is a company called KULR. They're actually a paid sponsor of today's video. The CEO, Michael Moe, reached out to me. We had a great conversation. He wanted to partner up with me so I could talk about his company and raise awareness, get more eyes on it, have investors check it out if they like what they see in here. So KULR, it's KULR ticker symbol. It's traded on the OTC exchange. Check that out if you like. KULR develops thermal management technology for lithium-ion batteries. So to explain what the technology is, remember when Samsung phones were exploding? Yeah, their batteries were defective. That's why that was happening. What his technology does is it contains that explosion, so there's no thermal leakage, no thermal runaway. Without thermal management, if the battery fails, it can possibly explode and harm others or start a fire. So I'll pull up a photo of it. Simply put, it's a containment bag used when transporting or storing batteries as a safety measure. If the battery is defective, this would contain it from thermal leakage, like I said, an explosion, fire, spreads, none of that would happen. I'll show you a video to give you an example of what I mean. So here is a video of a 2-cell battery pack that was not protected. Explosion. No good. All right, and then here is a clip of a 16-cell battery, even bigger, with his technology. And right there, it was pierced with a hammer to make the battery defective. No explosion, just emits some smoke. So the technology looks very promising as we continue to advance to a more battery-driven industry where we move away from gasoline vehicles and everything goes electric. There's gonna be more and more need for this type of product. I was actually very interested in the technology and his company. So the reason why Michael reached out to me is because he wanted to raise awareness about his company, get more eyes on his stock, and show you the potential that this market is gonna create. It's gonna grow exponentially, it already is. This is a multi-billion-dollar market of electric transportation, energy storage, space exploration, and defense. So it's huge, and it's gonna continue to grow. So I did want to mention, this is pretty cool. Their technology was developed in partnership with NASA for the International Space Station and Mars Rover Perseverance 2020 program. I will link their website in the description. If you're interested, you could check it out and see how their technology was used with NASA. It's pretty cool. I found this technology very interesting. I wanted to learn more about it, and overall, that's why we partnered up. So let me pull the chart up. All right, so as you can see, there's not a lot of technicals for me to do my typical analysis because there's not a lot of volume. Like I said, this is a low volume stock, so potential for a short-term return. It may not be there yet. If after you do some research on the company and you like it, I would say this is more of a secular growth, long-term investment. One thing I did notice is that volume is growing. You can see here at the bottom in the red box in this white line I drew, volume is increasing. It will continue to increase as more people become aware of this type of technology. So check out KULR. I really appreciate them for sponsoring. This is something you would invest in for the future. Next stock is Virgin Galactic. What a run they had, and where'd they go? They disappeared. So who is Virgin Galactic if you don't know? It's these guys. They're flying high. They look like birds in the sky. They are a aerospace company. They're trying to send people privately up into space. They're trying to compete with Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin and SpaceX. Here's a cool video of how their aircraft works. So it drops off of a plane that travels up. They hit the boosters and they're off to space. It's actually a very cool video, very cinematic. I actually really liked it. There we go. This kid looks pretty excited about it. I'm kind of like on the sidelines watching this. It's awesome. Look at this. This is incredible. All right, so let's pull up the technicals on Virgin Galactic because this was the talk of the town. Just like Nicola is over the last couple of days, this was what everyone talked about. It was huge. So here's the chart. So Virgin Galactic, it had that crazy run, $8 all the way to almost $44. Again, tech company, IPOs, goes bananas, falls, goes sideways. So it had a 490% rally and then it sold off 380%. It fell much further than Nicola, so maybe this is a sign of Nicola has some more way to come down. And then it ran sideways. So it's trying to find a support level, which I found at 1430 if I zoom in a little closer. So it's building support in this range, and then, I mean, most likely it's going to start to head up. So I found resistance around 20. It's going to, again, just like Nicola, it's kind of mirroring it. So it's going to bounce around. I would feel more comfortable placing my investment now, and if it falls below 1430, getting out. And then as far as profit taking, around 20. If it breaks out at 20, that's the breakout zone. So price target short term, like I said, 20. Possible breakout long term could be around, I don't know, if this thing breaks out, it can just aggressively run. It's consolidating in this zone for quite some time, several months now. It looks like since mid-March it's been consolidating. So like 3-4 months it's been consolidating in this zone between 15 and 20. So bearish scenario 1, it hits 20 and then it falls, and it doesn't stop at that support and it breaks through, maybe a major sell-off for some reason. I do actually see very strong support at 1175 because of these 2 key points in these green boxes that I drew. So if it did break through that 1430, 15 range, 1175 would be safe for a new support. So that is it. That's the technical analysis on SPACE. I'm curious to see when this company comes back because it was so popular. It was such a hot stock, and now no one's talking about it. And I think, my personal opinion is that after these rallies, they want people to leave, because when people leave, they come back. And you don't want everyone to be in a company, because who's left to invest? So when this was hot, there was no one else to push this up. So now people are leaving because it's boring. It's not doing much. So eventually, this is going to start to move again, and investors are going to come back and push it higher. So that's it. That's the 3 tech stocks to watch for this year. I appreciate everyone that is watching and hit the subscribe-y. So that's it. You know what we're going to do? We're going to get closer to retiring young.